iPhone Air, released with the iPhone 17 lineup. This phone is 5.64mm thin. That's the thinnest iPhone that Apple has ever made. Now, Apple's closest competitor, Samsung, made a 5.8mm thick phone and they named it the Galaxy S25 Edge. Just like the iPhone Air, the 25 Edge was in between the Galaxy S25 and the S25 Ultra. So, because of the slim design, it has to lag somewhere. Apple focused on design and portability instead of going pro and focusing on heavy duty. As a result, it has a single 48-megapixel camera, which can digitally zoom up to 10 times when taking photos and up to 6 times when taking videos. However, because of its 48-megapixel, Apple has made it possible to be able to zoom and maintain the picture quality. When you get to 2 times zoom, the camera uses 12 megapixel, which is normal for smartphones to shoot using 12 megapixel. Another problem that comes with a thin phone is a smaller battery. This phone has a battery capacity of 3149 milliamps, which is almost 15% smaller than that of the regular iPhone 17. Like any other high-end smartphone, it has features that allows you to take care of the battery, such as charge limit. This makes it possible for consumers to choose up to how much they want their battery to be recharged. An active screen time of 2 hours and idle time of almost 3 hours, the battery could go for more than 24 hours. Another sacrifice that had to be made was on speakers, so there is no stereo speakers anymore. The bottom of the phone doesn't have a speaker, it only has 2 microphones and a Type-C charging port. Audio only comes from the top speaker. This makes the sound quality of the phone a bit poor because there is little bass and more instrumentals and vocals. The phone is so thin that it doesn't have room for a physical SIM tray. The only option there is to add an eSIM. This is a major downside for people who switch main phones a lot. This means that if the iPhone Air becomes your main phone, the number that you put on it will only be for it, and you won't be able to stick to the same number when switching to different phones. Now you have to remember that this is still an iPhone. It has titanium frame, water and dust resistant, 120Hz refresh rate, 6.5-inch OLED display, and 12GB RAM, which is better than 8GB RAM of the base model iPhone 17. Earlier on, I spoke about the single camera as a downside of having a thin smartphone. However, it is not a bad camera. I want us to dive a bit into the camera. Launching is easier now. You just have to press the camera button and it's on shooting mode. While on the camera, you can switch between front and rear facing camera by swiping to the human icon. That also allows for lens switching, which in this case switches between zooms. Now, these are just simple pictures I took with the iPhone Air and Galaxy S25 just to see how good the iPhone camera is. There is more light on the photo taken with the iPhone. There are better shadows from the Galaxy S25s. Both cameras were on default settings. When it comes to video quality, there is definitely a high exposure from the iPhone Air. As a result, colors are a little bit washed out, like the green on the leaves, whereas Samsung balanced all colors including white and black. The colors are more accurate. I'd say that focus is great on both phones. I don't see any decline in picture quality on both phones at 2 times zoom. The Galaxy S25 has a 3 times telephoto lens, which is obviously advantageous when compared to the single camera on the iPhone Air, where quality decreases with zoom. Let us have a look at the zoom. The clip is captured at 6 times zoom, which is the maximum zoom for video recording. It is not as sharp, but colors are consistent and the video is usable. Now for photo capturing, I used one-time default camera. For some reason, it is not as sharp as I expected the 48-megapixel to be. But then I had a look at the details of the photo and it states that it was shot on 24 megapixel. Besides that, high dynamic range is on point. The clouds are in balance with the rest of the photo. Now for the 10 times zoom, the photo looks better than I expected, considering that all this is digital zoom. It is sharp enough and the colors are natural. Here is another picture I took with both the iPhone Air and Galaxy S25. From these two pictures, I can say that the iPhone is more cold and crispy. Here's another shot taken with the iPhone. I have to give credit to my girlfriend, she took this one. Apple doesn't seem to disappoint when it comes to video and photo capturing. Here is one of the close-up videos I have captured. You just have to love how this phone captures its videos. HDR is great, no problem there. Even close-up photos, I used the zoom to get such picture. So the 48 megapixel got reduced to 12 megapixel on this picture. It is still crispy. Going back to why the iPhone Air was made. Again, this phone was not made for heavy duty. They say that, but this is my girlfriend's phone and what she does with it on a daily basis is reading articles, doing research, looking for opportunities online, texting and calling, both video and voice calls, taking photos, scrolling through Instagram and YouTube, watching movies, playing music and letting it idle until the screen dumps itself out, and it does all that perfectly fine. So all in all, I believe it's made for people like myself who already have a very compatible smartphone and just wants a nice and portable phone to do other things like post on social media, keeping tabs with day-to-day activities, because I appreciate a good looking phone. This one is special and I really like it.